Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales, a place you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tai Tiger. But today, we're diving into Story Time, a section of the channel that actually belongs to Cosplay Dude 637. This is a continuation of his X-Men storyline. Now, make sure you check out Marvel Universe 19, a brand new YouTube channel which you'll also find this X-Men storyline, my Avengers storyline, which are connected, but more so. There's more going on in Universe 19 of Marvel, and it has its own YouTube channel, so make sure you go check it out. That's Marvel Universe 19. That being said, let's dive in with today's chapter. Turns out Cosplay Dude's actually continuing the X-Men storyline, with them actually becoming teachers. But less from me, and more with Cosplay Dude 637. So, I give you him with the story. The X-Men, Chapter 5, X-Men Live.
In the war room of Xavier's Institute, Professor Charles Xavier gathered his X-Men. Standing next to him were two young women. One had long brown hair and glowing red eyes, while the other had short blonde hair and blue eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Samantha, Xavier begins, gesturing towards the blonde-haired girl. Just Sam, she corrects with a smile. Xavier nods and then turns to the other girl. And this is Alyssa. Gambit's attention was immediately drawn to Alyssa. Their eyes met, and for a moment he felt an inexplicable connection. These two will be joining us as new students, Xavier announced to the team. They're both mutants and will be training with us from now on. Gambit, intrigued by Alyssa, extended his hand. Bonjour, Alyssa, he says with a charming smile. She shook his hand firmly. The rest of the team welcomed Sam and Alyssa, making them feel home in their new environment. After the others left, Xavier asked Gambit, Alyssa, and Rogue to stay behind. Gambit looked at Xavier, puzzled. What's this all about, Professor? Gambit asked. Xavier sighed and then turns to Alyssa. Alyssa, I believe it's time to tell him who you are. Gambit's curiosity grew and he glanced at Alyssa, waiting for an explanation. Alyssa looked away. No, Professor. Je ne peux pas. Remy, Xavier began, Alyssa is your blood sister, from your birth family. Gambit's eyes widen in shock and he turns to Alyssa, his mind swirling with questions. Rogue, too, was taken aback by this revelation, her expression a mixture of surprise and concern. Greetings, mon frère, Alyssa says in a very Cajun accent.
You're looking for that one special toy? You're looking to find that part of your collection that you can't find anywhere else? You want to come on down to Finster's Figures. He got everything. Anything you're going to want, he can probably find it. If you're looking for that Zat Megazord, or you're looking for that one Megazord that you just can't find the dragon part for, you go down to Finster Figures. If you need to have those classic collection that Sam got of those 1998 walkie-talkies, you go to Finster Figures. He got them in stock. And if he doesn't get them in stock, he can find them for you. If you can't find them for you, he's going to go and steal them from Sam. That again is Finster Figures on 4th and 35th Street.
In the rec room of the school, the X-Men listen intently as Sam prepares to reveal her powers. I have the power to control electronics, Sam explains, her eyes glowing softly. I can manipulate and interface with any electronic device from computers to security systems. Additionally, my girlfriend Alyssa has the power to manipulate kinetic energy, Sam continues. She can form it into energy balls and throw them with precision. Kinetic energy, you say, mein Fräulein? Kirk asks, his tail swinging with curiosity. Yep, she can also become covered in it if she gets too mad, Sam explains, her expression proud. And her eyes, are they always like that? Kitty inquires, her mind racing with possibility. Sam nods, understanding what her teachers are trying to allude to. Yes, and as most of you have guessed, her last name is LeBeau. Gambit has a kid? Alex bursts out in shock. Scott immediately slaps him in the back of the head. Will you think for a minute? It's his sister. Scott clarified, giving his younger brother an annoyed look. Oh, yeah, that does make more sense, Alex murmured, rubbing the back of his head sheepishly. So, yeah, where are the other students? Sam asked, looking around the room. The school year doesn't start for another week, although a few students have started to move in, Jean explains. Yes, the Nesler siblings, Logan Tiger, and Miranda Cross have been here a few weeks now, Aurora added in, a soft smile gracing her lips. Let me and Bobby show you around the school. The other students may be on the courts or at the pool, Amara suggested. Sam nodded and walked off with Amara and Bobby. I have a feeling this is going to be an interesting year, Hank remarked. Yeah, it is, Hank. Yeah, it is. Logan agreed, hitting his blue friend on the back. On the basketball court, the Nesler siblings, Mikhail, Angelique, Xander, and Ruthie, played a spirited game with Logan Tiger and Isla Bailey. The sound of sneakers scratching across the court mixed with the thud of the basketball echoed across the school grounds. Meanwhile, at the pool, a girl with a slim build and short tasseled black and green hair sat at the water. Her eyes were a vibrant shade of green, matching her green and black two-piece bikini. Her name was Miranda Cross. Amara and Bobby approached with Sam. Hey, Sam, I'd like you to meet some of the other students, Amara said, gesturing to the group. Sam smiled and nodded, following Amara and Bobby over to where the others were gathered. Hey, everyone, this is Sam. She's new here, Bobby announced. Nice to meet you, Sam, Mikhail greeted her, offering a friendly handshake. Welcome to Xavier's, Isla added, with a warm smile. Xander and Ruthie waved in greeting, and Logan gave her a nod of acknowledgement. Miranda, who had been lying by the pool, looked over and smiled. Hi, Sam. I'm Miranda. Nice to meet you, she said, her voice friendly and welcoming. There's another new girl, Alyssa, but she is visiting with her brother right now, Bobby explained to the others. Oh, I see, Ruthie responded, nodding. Looking forward to meeting her. She's really nice. You'll like her, Amara added, and her and Bobby walked away. Sam pointed to each student, trying to remember everyone's name. So, you're Mikhail, Angelique, Xander, and Ruthie, she said, addressing the Nesler siblings first. The siblings nodded and confirmed, each introducing themselves in turn. Sam then turns to Logan. And you're Logan, she said, smiling. Logan nods. That's right. Welcome to Mutant High. Thanks, she replied with a smile. And then she turned her attention to Isla. And you're Isla, right? Isla nodded, returning Sam's smile. Finally, Sam looked over at Miranda, who was still sitting at the pool. And you are Miranda, she said. Miranda flashed her a dazzling smile. Sam looked back at Logan. Hold on, there's a famous X-Men by the name of Logan, right? Logan's eyes found the ground really fast. Sam looked at the others for answers. Yes, you're talking about Wolverine, Xander said. Yeah, that's the one, Sam exclaimed. Our dear Logan here was, in fact, named after the X-Men, Mikhail said. Logan shot him an evil look. Don't you dare, Sparky, he snapped. Sam looked over at Logan, confusion etched on her face. What's the big deal? He is not too happy with how he acted when he first met his namesake, Angelique said softly. Dude totally fangirled on Wolverine, going on and on about how his dad was saved by Wolverine years back, and he was so grateful he named his firstborn son after him, Xander blurted out. Logan growled and tackled Xander to the ground and started to punch him. God damn it, you flying demon! If I did not want your brother to say it, what makes you think I wanted you to? Xander flapped his wings, sending a gust of wind at Logan, sending him flying off of him. Look here, Shadow Man, I am not scared of the dark, so don't test me, or you will see what a demon can really do, Xander shouted, taking to the sky. Enough! Isla shouted. Everyone turns and looks at her. We are all students at this school. We need to be getting along. Logan, you should not have attacked Xander like that. But also, Xander, you have no right to tell Logan's past. It is for him to tell, not you, she said, crossing her arms. Sam whistled. Dang, girl! Sam smiled and winked at her. Isla smiled back at Sam, appreciating the support. Thanks, Sam. I just think we should all try to get along. Logan gets up and dusts himself off. Sorry about that, Xander. I just don't like people talking about my past without my permission. Xander nods in understanding. I get it. I won't bring it up again. Logan gives him a nod of thanks before turning to Sam. Sorry you had to see that. Welcome to the school once again. Thanks, Logan. No hard feelings, Sam replied, smiling. With tensions diffused, the group start to chat and get to know each other better, eager to forge new friendships. Miranda watches the scene unfold with a cryptic smile, her eyes fixed on Logan. You would be one he would like to meet, she murmured to herself, her tone carrying a mysterious and ominous edge. Back inside the mansion, Remy, Rogue, and Alyssa have moved from the war room into the sitting room. Remy sits across from his sister with Rogue next to him, holding his hand. So tell me, Petite, were you raised by the guild also? Remy asks. No, I grew up in a loving family, but I was adopted. It turns out the guild killed our birth parents, Alyssa tells him. Oh, sugar, I'm so sorry, Rogue says, squeezing Remy's hand. Remy squeezes it back. It's okay, Shell. I am not shocked that the guild would do something like that. Alyssa sighs. Once my powers kicked in, I knew I had to find who my birth parents were. My adopted dads were very supportive of me, both with being a mutant and a lesbian. I found out that I had an older brother, and he was taken when I was just a baby. So I began the hunt for you. And your girlfriend? How did you meet her, sugar? Rogue asks. Alyssa smiles brightly. Sam was the one who found out who my brother really was. With her powers? Remy asks, finally speaking again. Yes, she has the power to control electronic devices, anything with a computer chip, Alyssa happily explained. But before they could continue their conversation, Jubilee and Roberto bursted into the room. Roberto, hon, when did you get here? Rogue asks. Just now. But that's not important, he says, turning on the TV. On the TV, a newswoman is reporting live from Central Park where a group of terrorists is attacking the city. As you can see, Red Skull, the leader of Hydra, Mystique of the Brotherhood, and Juggernaut have teamed up for the first time and are attacking the city, the reporter says. Remy and Rogue jump to her feet after seeing the TV. Mama? Rogue shouts. To me, my staff members, Xavier says in their minds.
Have you been teleported to the past? Or de-aged to look like a kid again? Or have you delivered a message to some strange woman who asks questions all the time? And are you stuck? Well, call TARDIS Taxis, the taxi service that don't get you where you want to go, but where you need to go. To book TARDIS Taxis, simply call the number in last week's paper. Bookings are 6 months in advance. We cannot rearrange your booking, as it may rip a hole in the space-time continuum. Refunds are at the discretion of the Time Lords. Call TARDIS Taxis, and we will get you home. One day.
In Professor Xavier's study, a heated debate was underway. You told me if I came back to the school, I would no longer have to fight, Betsy snaps, her frustration evident. And I meant it, but you know as well as I do, 2 of them are more than normal adversaries, Xavier replied calmly. Oh, trust me, Chuck, when I say all 3 of them, the Red Skull is no joke, Logan chimed in, his expression serious. What about the Avengers, Bobby asked, hoping for an alternative. Most are, let's just say, otherwise occupied, Hank explained. We can't just sit here twiddling our thumbs. I know I said I wouldn't fight anymore, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let innocent people get hurt when I have the power to do something about it, Rogue shouted, her voice filled with determination. Rogue is right. We may not have all came back together for this reason, But we are X-Men. We have a responsibility to the world to help keep it safe, Scott agreed, his tone resolute. Well said, Boy Scout. You can count me in, Logan declared, ready for action. And me, Storm added, her eyes flashing with determination. Hell yeah! Let's get this party started, Bobby shouted eagerly. One by one, the X-Men voiced their agreement, all standing in solidarity with Scott's decision to reform the team and stop Red Skull, Mystique, and Juggernaut, all except Betsy. I will have no part in this. I am leaving. I will not be here when you all get back, Betsy announced. That is your choice, my dear. We are sorry to lose you, but I understand, Xavier replied with a sigh as Betsy stormed out of the room. Well, if you got a spot open, Roberto said, looking at Scott and winking at Jubilee, who grinned back at him. Welcome back, Sunspot. Okay, X-Men, suit up! Scott's voice rang out with authority. We are going to need a bigger jet, Hank chuckled, his mind already working on the logistics. Oh, and Prof, never say that again. It did not sound right in our heads, Bobby added with a grin as they all left the room ready to face the new threat. After suiting up, the X-Men made their way to the hangar bay where Beast awaited them. The air buzzed with a mixture of tension and anticipation. All right, people, Beast began, his voice calm and authoritative. Here's the situation. We only have the Blackbird for a jet, but we also have the X-Chopper. I know I'm the only one here who knows how to fly that, so I'll take half of you with me, and Cyclops will take the rest. Thanks, Beast, Cyclops says, stepping forward. Okay, team, I know we haven't been in the field together for a long time. Gambit lets out a deliberate, exaggerated cough. Despite his visor, everyone could tell Cyclops was rolling his eyes. Well, most of us, that is. My point is, let's keep our cool and work as a team, Cyclops continues. Team 1 will be Rogue, Phoenix, Sunspot, Nightcrawler, and Polaris. Your target is Juggernaut. Rogue nods, her expression determined. Phoenix glances at Sunspot, sharing a look of mutual confidence. Nightcrawler and Polaris exchange a nod, ready for action. Team 2, led by me, Cyclops went on, will include Wolverine, Storm, Havoc, and Beast. Our focus is Red Skull. Wolverine cracks his knuckles, a fierce grin spreading across his face. Storm's eyes sparkle with a hint of lightning, while Havoc and Beast exchange a firm handshake. And lastly, Cyclops concludes, Gambit, Iceman, Magma, Shadowcat, and Jubilee, Mystique is all yours. Gambit twirls a card between his fingers, flashing a roguish smile. Iceman and Magma high-five, Shadowcat stretches, readying herself, and Jubilee's fireworks flicker in her hands. Let's do this, X-Men, Cyclops says, his voice resolute. Move out! With that, the team split, heading towards their respective transports. The Blackbird's engines roared to life as Team 1 and Team 2 boarded, while Beast led Team 3 to the X-Chopper. The mission ahead was daunting, but the X-Men were ready to face it together.
Hey everyone, and I apologise for interrupting, but I have to tell you guys something about Robin. No, not Dick Grayson, and not Tim Drake, not Jason Todd, and not Damian Wayne. I'm talking about the Robin that I invented. His name is Alex Andrews Jr., and after a lot of the superheroes disappeared on Union Day, Alex decided to take the role of Robin and become Nightwing's sidekick. But I can't tell you any more than that, really. Instead, what I'll do is I'll let the story speak for itself. If you ever want to find out how Alex copes on being Robin, then you can check out War Against Gotham on Tiger Tales, found on YouTube.
Central Park was a scene of utter chaos. The normally serene haven has been transformed into a battlefield. Trees and statues lay in ruins, and terrified civilians fled in every direction. At the heart of the destruction, Red Skull was on a rampage, blasting away at anything and everything with wrist-mounted blasters. His maniacal laugh echoed through the park as explosions tore through the landscape. Juggernaut, an unstoppable force, was locked in a brutal clash with the police, bullets bouncing harmlessly off his impervious skin as he laughed, smashing their cop cars with his massive feet. The ground shook with each step he took, leaving a path of destruction in his wake. Above, Mystique has morphed into Archangel, raining down deadly metal feathers from the sky. Her eyes glowed with malevolent glee as she targeted anyone who dared to fight back, her wings slicing through the air with lethal precision. As the Blackbird in the X-Chopper descended into view, a strange, almost eerie silence fell over the chaos in Central Park. Civilians, police officers, even the marauding villains paused and looked up at the incoming aircraft. The sleek black jet and the angular helicopter landed with precision, their doors opened to reveal the X-Men, stepping out with purpose and determination. Cyclops took the lead, his visor gleaming as he scanned the battlefield. "X-Men, take them down!" he commanded, his voice ringing out with authority. The team sprang into action, moving with precision and grace. The X-Men moved like a well-oiled machine, each member playing their part in the larger strategy. Juggernaut stood in the center of the chaos, his massive form towering over the crumbled remains of police vehicles. His laughter boomed as he effortlessly swatted away another squad car, sending it skidding across the pavement. Team 1 approached with determination, knowing that Juggernaut's helmet needed to be removed for Phoenix to use her telepathic abilities. Rogue took the lead, her eyes fixed on their target. "All right, y'all," she called out, her southern drawl cutting through the noise. "We need to get that helmet off him. Y'all try and distract him. Phoenix, be ready." Rogue shot forward. She slammed into Juggernaut's chest with all her might, the impact causing him to stagger back a few steps. "Hey, big guy, over here," she taunted, zipping around him with impressive speed. Juggernaut roared and swung a massive fist at her, but Rogue dodged nimbly, leading him away from the civilians. "Polaris, Sunspot, now!" she shouted. Polaris raised her arms, her eyes glowing as she manipulated the magnetic field around Juggernaut's helmet. With a grunt of effort, she tried to pull it off, but Juggernaut's resistance was strong. "I need more power!" she cried out. Sunspot transformed into his solar form, his body radiating intense heat and light. He blasted Juggernaut with continuous beams of solar energy, aiming to weaken his grip and disrupt his balance. "Come on, you overgrown tin can! Give us a break!" he yelled. Nightcrawler appeared in a poof of smoke, teleporting behind Juggernaut. With swift, precise movements, he used his agility to land on Juggernaut's shoulders, grabbing hold of the helmet. "Now, Polaris, give it another try!" he urged. Polaris focused her magnetic powers again. With Nightcrawler's aided leverage, the helmet began to budge. Juggernaut thrashed, trying to throw Nightcrawler, but Rogue swooped in, punching him hard in the jaw and diverting his attention. Finally, with a combined effort, the helmet came loose. Nightcrawler teleported away, holding the helmet triumphantly. "It's off, Phoenix! Do your thing!" he shouts. Phoenix stepped forward, her eyes glowing with a fierce intensity. She reached out with her telepathic abilities, diving into Juggernaut's mind. "All right, let's calm that rage of yours," she murmured, focusing her mental powers. Juggernaut's movement slowed as Phoenix's psychic blast took hold. His roar of anger turned to confusion, and he stumbled, falling to his knees. The immense threat he posed was neutralized thanks to the coordinated efforts of Team 1. "Nice work, everyone," Rogue said, landing beside her teammates. "Let's make sure he stays down." As the team secures Juggernaut, they knew this victory was just one part of a larger battle reigning in the park. But for now, they had one less threat to worry about, and they had done it together, showcasing the true strength of the X-Men. Team 2 runs at their target, Red Skull, who was wreaking havoc with wrist-mounted blasters, firing at anything that moved. Cyclops led the charge, his visor glowing with the promise of an optic blast. "Spread out and engage. We've got to keep him contained." Red Skull, with a twisted smile, welcomed the challenge. "Ah, the famous X-Men, come to face your doom? The Master said you'd come." Wolverine growled, his claws unsheathing with a metallic, "Yeah, bub, and this is personal." Storm soared into the sky, summoning dark clouds and whipping up powerful winds. "I will create a distraction, Cyclops. Take your shot! As Storm unleashed a torrent of lightning towards Red Skull, Cyclops fired an optic blast, aiming for the villain's blasters. The beam struck true, causing one of Red Skull's weapons to explode in a shower of sparks. Havoc joined in, releasing energy blasts from his hands to keep Red Skull off balance. Keep him busy! We need to wear him down! Beast, with his incredible agility, leaped from debris to debris, closing the distance between him and Red Skull. Let's see how you fare against a bit of raw strength, he said, delivering a powerful kick to Red Skull's midsection. Red Skull staggered, but quickly recovered, aiming his remaining blaster at Beast. You fool! Think you can defeat me? The Master won't let that happen! Wolverine seized this opportunity with a feral roar. He lunged at Red Skull, claws slashing. This is for what you did in World War II, he snapped, landing several deep cuts across Red Skull's chest. Each strike was fueled by years of pent-up rage and a deep-seated need for vengeance. Red Skull reeled from the attack, blood seeping through his uniform. You will pay for that, mutant! My master will see to it! He spat, trying to retaliate, but Cyclops hit him with another powerful optic blast, sending him crashing into a nearby statue. Storm descended, her eyes still glowing with the residual power of the storm she had summoned. It's over, Red Skull. Surrender now. Red Skull struggled to his feet, only to be met with a powerful uppercut from Beast that sent him sprawling again. You are outmatched, villain, Beast said, his voice calm yet firm. Havoc stepped forward, his hands glowing with energy. Ready to give up? Or do we need to keep this up? Red Skull, battered and bruised, glared at the X-Men. You may have won this battle, but the war is far from over, and my master will kill you all. Wolverine stepped closer, claws still extended. Maybe, but today, you're done. As the Red Skull was restrained and secured, Team 2 regrouped, catching their breath. Cyclops looked around, assuring everyone was okay. Good work, team. Let's move on to help the others. With Red Skull neutralized, they knew the fight was far from over, but this victory, marked by their teamwork and determination, was a crucial step in restoring peace to Central Park. Team 3 readied to face their target, Mystique, who was wreaking havoc, morphing into various heroes and villains, using her shape-shifting ability to sow confusion and chaos. Gambit, his eyes glowing with determination, took the lead. Alright, mes amis, let's show this shapeshifter what we're made of. Spread out and be ready for any tricks she's got up her sleeve. Mystique, noticing the rival of the X-Men, smirked and morphed into Captain America. Come on, X-Men, let's see if you're up for the challenge, she taunted, throwing her shield made of energy that barely missed Iceman. Iceman retaliated, creating an ice ramp and sending a barrage of ice shards towards her. Let's cool you down a bit, Cap, he quipped. But Mystique was already shifting again, this time into Magneto. You'll need more than that to stop me, she said, using her new form's magnetic abilities to hurl metallic debris at the team. Shadowcat phased through the flying debris effortlessly, calling out to the team. Stay sharp, everyone. She's trying to keep us off balance. Gambit charged a handful of cards with kinetic energy, throwing them at Mystique. Let's see how you handle this. The cards explode around Mystique, forcing her to revert to her true form momentarily. Magma took advantage of this moment, summoning a wave of molten lava. Let's heat things up, she yelled, sending the lava flowing towards Mystique. Mystique quickly shifted again, this time into Thor, and summoned a lightning bolt to counter the lava. Is that all you've got? She shouted, her voice echoing with divine power. Jubilee's eyes narrowed with concentration, firing a series of explosive plasma fireworks at Mystique. How about a light show, Thor? The plasma burst hit Mystique, causing her to stagger and revert to her true form once more. You're getting on my nerves, she hissed, transforming into Wolverine and charging at Gambit with claws extended. Gambit dodged swiftly, countering with a charged bow staff strike. You ain't the real Wolverine, Shell, he said, knocking her back. Shadowcat phased behind Mystique and grabbed her arms, causing her to lose balance. You've caused enough trouble, Mystique. Time to end this. As Mystique tried to morph into another form, Iceman encased her legs in a thick layer of ice. Nowhere to run, he said. Magma added a ring of fire around her, and nowhere to hide. Jubilee stepped forward, her hands glowing with plasma energy. "Give it up, Mystique. It's over." Mystique, realizing she was outmatched, snarled and reverted to her original form. "You think this is over? It's just begun," she spat, but her eyes showed resignation. Gambit approached, his bow staff at the ready. "Maybe, but for now, this fight is done." With a swift move, he disarmed Mystique, ensuring she could not escape. As Mystique was restrained, Team 3 regrouped. Gambit looked at his team with pride. "Good work, y'all. Let's see how the others are doing." With Mystique neutralized, they knew the battle wasn't over yet, but this victory, achieved through teamwork and resilience, was a critical step in showing the world that the X-Men were back. As the battle grew to a close and the authorities moved in to take the 3 terrorists into custody, the X-Men regrouped, catching their breath and assessing the situation. Phoenix stepped forward, her eyes glowing with a psychic energy as she attempted to read the minds of their foes, but all she could see is one word, a name, Maleficon. She whispered, her brow furrowed in confusion. Jubilee, standing nearby, looked puzzled. "Okay, that was weird, right?" "Very odd, my child," Storm responded, her voice calm and measured. Jubilee sighed, rolling her eyes slightly. "Are you ever going to stop calling me that?" Storm chuckled softly. "Good luck with that. She still calls me Kitten," Shadowcat added with a grin. A short distance away, Gambit, Rogue, Phoenix, and Cyclops stood in a small circle, deep in conversation. Cyclops rubbed his chin thoughtfully, his visor reflecting the sunlight. "I know we haven't dealt with Red Skull a lot in the past, but he didn't sound like himself today," he said, confusion edged on his face. "When I read their minds, they were blank, all except for this one name, Maleficon," Phoenix explained, her voice tinged with concern. "Maleficon, huh? Can't say I know it," Gambit mused, his eyes narrowing as he tried to recall if he had ever heard the name before. Rogue shook her head, her expression serious. "Sugars, I think we may have just stepped into something deep, like stepping into a cow patty." Cyclops nodded grimly. "This might be bigger than we anticipated. We need to be ready for anything." Phoenix looked around at her teammates, feeling a mixture of determination and unease. "Whatever this Maleficon is, we'll face it together as X-Men." As the authorities finished securing the terrorists and the media began to swarm the scene, the X-Men stood resolute. They knew this battle was just the beginning of a new threat looming on the horizon, but they were ready to face it, united and strong, together as X-Men.
This story was written and read to you by Cosplay Dude 637. More of his stuff in the outro.
This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zio to Hero, the podcast.
And there we have it, guys. Thank you very much for listening to this story. If you've enjoyed this story, then you might want to check out all of my Tiger Tales channels. I'm going to give you a quick rundown. There's Tiger Tales, the first and the original. This is a place where you'll find stories and fanfictions diving into all sorts of fandoms, including Power Rangers, Pokemon, The Walking Dead, Marvel, DC, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and so much more. Tiger Tales The Lost Stories follows the same suit, but all the stories on that channel are in the first person perspective. Then there's Tiger Tales Game Over, a channel where all of the storylines are related to video games in some way or another. Then we have Tiger Tales X, where I write official crossovers that aren't needed but are very wanted, and crossovers I thought might work. Then, of course, we have Tiger Tales Mysterious Origins. This is the YouTube channel dedicated to my own original stories. All the stories on this channel are original and my own, and it also answers questions on certain characters throughout my stories, like William Cranston, Mr. Pocket, and Ace from the Color Matrix. If you've enjoyed these storylines, then please make sure you check out the following podcasts. Storytime with Cosplay Dude 637, Power Rangers Universe 19, Sailor Moon E, and The Order. And make sure you check out 2 YouTube channels, Nostalgia Time and the One Piece audio drama. They are all written and read to you and edited by Cosmic Dude 637, my parabatai and best friend. Then, make sure you check out the podcast Nerds Through Comics, which is directed by Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger. This is where he adapts comic books into audio dramas and also uploads his own original Power Ranger storylines. We are the Three Ranger Bros Studios, a collaborative project, and we are all voice actors and helpers of each other's stuff, so make sure you go check us out. We're in association with the Zero to Hero podcast, so a huge shout out to Billy and Jim, the co-hosts, and of course the podcast and the community that they lead. If we're shouting out podcasts, I have to shout out Jared, the host of If You Give a Damn podcast. Make sure you check it out because he interviews some fantastic guests, from wrestlers to voice actors and the such. And of course, if we're talking podcasts, I have to mention my own, the Tiger Nexus podcast, where I interview content creators and geeks alike. A huge shout out to all my supporters and followers, my voice actors, the people who co-write my chapters, and the sorts. So huge thank you, and of course, a big shout out to A-Crown. Specifically him, because he helps me a lot with some of my stories, specifically the Color Matrix and the chapters that go on Telltale's Game Over. Thank you very much guys for listening. Now don't forget to subscribe to the channels, like the videos, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. With that being said, I shall see you guys in the next one.
That before we can...
Don't touch my Pringles.